morning in the old kingdom was like any other morning. The sun rose slowly, pouring light into the red dust streets, spilling gold into narrow lanes and broken walls. From far away the church bells finished their final soft echo, and the sound hung in the air, like the city was waking up with a prayer. Shopkeepers lifted heavy shutters, merchants opened their stalls, and in the poor quarter, children wandered around, empty stomachs. But that morning, for one child, even the sunrise felt darker than the night. His name was Eli. Eli was maybe 8 years old, thin arms, sharp bones, and eyes where childhood didn't live anymore. Only hunger did. For 3 days, no fire had burned in his home, no bread, no soup, nothing. His mother was sick. His father had left months ago to find work and never came back. Eli woke up and looked at his mother's dry lips. Then he looked at his little brother, who had cried himself to sleep from hunger, and Eli made a decision. Today, no matter what happens, I will return with bread. In the old kingdom there was one man whose name made people stand straighter, a man people feared, a man people praised, a man whose shadow felt heavier than the palace walls. His name was King Alaric. His grain stores were endless, his vaults were full, his palace wasn't a home, it was a fortress, high gates, thick stone walls, armed guards outside always watching. People said if King Alaric wanted, he could buy the entire city in one day. But people also said something else. They said his heart was as locked as his treasury. Alaric was proud of his wealth. He would say it openly, the poor are poor because they're lazy. My riches are proof of my brilliance, not because of anyone's prayers, not because of God. That morning, Eli walked barefoot to the palace gate. He stood under the giant door. He looked up. The iron latch gleamed. The lock looked like a weapon. His heart hammered inside his chest. He thought, if I leave here with nothing, my mother and my brother. He couldn't finish the thought. He raised his hand and knocked. Knock, knock. A guard turned and stared like Eli was dirt. What do you want? Eli's voice trembled. Sir, a piece of bread. The guard laughed. This is a palace, kid, not a soup line. Eli folded his hands. My mother is very sick. We haven't eaten in 3 days. The guard shoved him. Get away from here. Eli stumbled, almost falling, but he didn't leave. And then the great door opened, and out stepped King Alaric himself. His robe was clean, his ring shined, and his eyes were cold, into the kind of cold that comes from believing you are above everyone. He saw Eli. What is this child doing here? The guard said, My king, he's asking for bread. Alaric looked Eli up and down, torn clothes, dust on his face, starving eyes. Bread? Alaric smirked. There's work all over the kingdom, and he's begging? Eli's lips shook as he spoke. My king, just one last loaf, just one. Those words made the air heavier. Just one last loaf. But Alaric's heart did not soften. He said in a hard voice, If I give bread to every hungry mouth, my treasury will become empty. Then he turned to the guard, closed the gate, and the heavy palace door shut, right in Eli's face. Eli stood there, 1 breath, 2 breaths, and then tears fell. He sat down on the ground and whispered into the dust, God, if my mother dies tonight, who will I call? Who will I have left? Inside the palace, Alaric sat at his table. Plates of food, fresh bread, warm dishes, enough to feed 10 families. But in his ears, one line kept repeating, just one last loaf. He shook his head. Foolish emotion. He told himself, I'm not here to save the world. Eli went home, empty-handed. His mother looked into his eyes and understood everything. She pulled him close. It's okay, my son. God is bigger than hunger. But that night, her breathing broke. Eli shook her gently. Mom, wake up. Tomorrow I'll try again. I promise. But she didn't wake up. Years passed. The old kingdom grew larger, markets expanded, deals became bigger, and King Alaric's wealth doubled. People stopped calling him Your Majesty. They started calling him the owner of treasure. Where he walked, people bowed. Where he sat, people stood. But the more his wealth grew, the smaller his heart became, harder, prouder, colder. One day the kingdom's old pastor came to meet him. With respect, the pastor said, Your Majesty, God has given you much. Now it's time to give back, time for charity, time to tithe. Alaric laughed. I pay wages, I pay taxes. What more do you want from me? The pastor spoke softly. This wealth is not truly yours. It is a trust, and the poor have a right in it. Alaric's face became stone. The poor have a right? If I give every poor person their right, then who stays rich? The room went silent. The pastor stood up. Remember this, Your Majesty. The day the true owner asks for your account, you will have to answer. Alaric turned away. When that day comes, we'll see. His palace became even grander. New walls, new fountains, new servants, and every day half the food was thrown away. Outside, hungry children waited, sick women cried, broken dreams stood at the gate. Alaric would glance from the window, then drop the curtain. Not my problem. But at night, when he was alone, that voice returned. Just one last loaf. One evening, Alaric stood on the roof at sunset. Below was the same street where a hungry child had once cried at his gate. He remembered torn clothes, a trembling voice, and that line, My king, just one last loaf. Alaric clenched his jaw, weakness, and he locked his heart again. But time does not walk in a straight line. One day, Alaric made a massive deal. Grain shipped across the sea, but this time, his partner betrayed him. The ship sank. The grain spoiled. Millions vanished. For the first time, Alaric sweated. How can this happen? He shouted. Servants froze. Then he forced a smile. It's fine. I still have plenty. Months later, Alaric fell ill. Doctors came. Healers came. Your Majesty, you need rest. Reduce stress. But Alaric refused. Wealth cannot stop, he said. Even in bed, he signed deals. At night he woke in sweat. Dreams. A child stood in front of him, hands stretched out. Alaric would wake screaming, I did nothing, I did nothing. His wife began to stay away. One night she said, You have everything, but you have no peace. Alaric snapped, Peace comes from money. Her eyes filled with tears. No, peace comes from humanity. That line hit Alaric like a nail, but he ignored it. Then losses poured like rain. A storehouse burned. A shipment was stolen. A partner vanished. Officials arrived. Papers were demanded. Accounts were seized. The people who once bowed now avoided his eyes. For the first time, King Alaric felt alone. One day his carriage passed an old lane. He saw a child holding bread. Alaric's breath caught. For a second it felt like time turned around. He shut the window, but now the door of his heart wouldn't close all the way. That night, an old man came to the palace gate. A servant said, A beggar. Alaric yelled, Send him away. But the old man's voice floated in, I also once came asking for bread. Alaric's body went cold. He ordered the gate opened, but outside, there was no one. Only wind, only silence. That night Alaric cried, without sound. Time gives no one mercy. The fall that had been slow became a storm. His ships were seized, his lands were taken, his vault had gold, but it was stamped with a debt. One morning a red mark was painted on his palace gate. Seized. Alaric stared at it. His fingers trembled. This is my home. But his voice had no power left. Servants left. Relatives turned away. Friends locked their doors. His wife left. At the door she said only one thing. I lost you the day you lost your humanity. Those words stayed in Alaric's chest like a blade. Now Alaric sat on the floor of a broken room. Hunger burned in him. a hunger he had never known. He looked at his hands. These were the hands that once threw food away. Now they were empty, and in front of his eyes one picture kept returning. A hungry boy, a closing gate. Alaric grabbed his head. What did I do? Days passed, his beard grew, his clothes became filthy, his face became unrecognizable. He went searching for work. The same people who once bowed said, "We don't hire beggars." He swallowed the insult, because hunger is sharper than pride. One evening, Alaric's feet carried him, without permission, to an old lane. The narrow path, the dusty walls, the memories. He hadn't eaten all day. The smell of bread drifted from a small home. His legs shook, and then he realized he was standing in front of the kind of door he once ordered shut. He raised his hand, then stopped. How can I ask? His soul trembled, but his stomach crushed his ego. A soft knock from inside, a woman's voice. Who is it? Alaric's voice broke. I'm hungry. The door opened. A woman stood there, and behind her, a young man. In the young man's hand was one loaf of bread. One last loaf. The young man stared at Alaric, his eyes widened. Are you King Alaric? Tears streamed down Alaric's face. He collapsed. Yes, I am. The young man stepped forward calmly. Do you recognize me? Alaric looked again. Those eyes, that face. Time froze. The young man said, I'm Eli, the boy who once came to your palace gate, asking for bread. Alaric's breath shattered, and Eli held the bread out. I also have only this, just one last loaf. Alaric began to sob. Forgive me, I was blind. Eli broke the loaf into 2 pieces. He held one piece toward Alaric, and he said the line that ends everything. Hunger doesn't make a man small. Pride does. Alaric took the bread with shaking hands. Every bite was soaked with tears. That night, for the first time in years, the king slept with peace. And in the morning, the old kingdom woke again to the soft sound of church bells.